No way.
So, knowledge has the power to reveal paths previously unseen. At KAMTV, we deep dive into the world of knowledge management, education, knowledge transfer, exploring how dedicated professionals reshape our understanding and drive meaningful change. Today, we are honored to have an African expert in the field, Thomas Reuben Moller. Thomas, you are the executive director leading Savannah Vision Tanzania and the headmaster of Sakura Girls Secondary School with a passion for social impact, community development, and sustainable advancement. We are excited to uncover your journey that led you to this remarkable point in your career. Let's start with understanding how building communities and knowledge management inspire you.
First of all, myself, I came from a family with very little education, I can say. My father was born in 1942 and was educated to standard 4, only standard 4. And my mother was born in 1954 and was educated to standard 4, only standard 4. My father chanced to get a job in the government as an assistant surveyor. He retired in 2006. And I am the firstborn in the family. Yeah. My father's family got very little opportunity to education. I can say my father was the most educated in his family. Yeah. And because of that, my father has a passion for education. He wanted his children to get education, and I was the firstborn in his family. And I came to like to educate myself. And my father was a very good motivator, though he wanted me to be a lawyer. And I didn't become a lawyer. Yeah, so I succeeded to complete primary education, and then I passed and continued to secondary education. And then I took a diploma in teachers training, education, and then degree. And of course, I can say I am just one among the most educated in the family. Yeah. My brother has also good education, and he is also a tutor. And my last sister is also well educated, and she's teaching in a secondary school. But my two sisters were married when they completed primary education. I'm sorry. Yes, when they completed primary education, they were married. Simply, yes, my father saw that it's of no good for him to educate the girls, because after all, they will be married.
And then they can't use the skills that they learned?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So he didn't saw the importance of taking the girls to the school after completing primary education. So, in fact, my two sisters were married. But my last sister, I thought, well, no, it will not be good. She needs to have a future, and education is very important for her to have a good future. Then I decided to get into expense and make sure she completes her education, including my two brothers as well. I played a great role because I was highly motivated that education is so important. And of course, they succeeded very well in their education. They are now working and have a good life with their family. Yeah. Professionally, I am the teacher. I'm a teacher. and I taught in secondary school and also at the university for some time. But I have also held I held leadership roles in different schools. I was the deputy head of Maasai Girls Lutheran Secondary School, which was a partnership project between an organization in America called the Operation Bootstrap Africa and the Evangelical Lutheran Church of Tanzania to provide education to Maasai girls. Maasai tribe does not see any value of taking girls to school. They want them to be married, like my father, who is also a Maasai. So I was there for 12 years in that project, and it was kind of, yes, a very successful project as well. And yes, for some times I've been teaching, as I said, in a university for less than a year. I taught the first year and second year degree students, and of course I enjoyed the job. In 2016, I was asked to come and help establish the Sakura Girls Secondary School. And then I've been there since 2017 to the present. Oh, this is my young boy.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, so
he's so cute.
Yeah.
Is it cold at the moment in Tanzania?
He's sick.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, he's not so well.
You can take him on your lap if you want. I don't mind. You can hug him or take him on your lap if you want.
Okay. Atticus. Okay, go to your husband.
He's so cute. What's his name?
Ezra.
That's a beautiful.
Yeah, we call him Atticus as well. Atticus was a poet. Yeah. So I'm currently working with Sakura Girls Secondary School as headmaster since 2017. And the school project was very successful, I can tell you. All the girls who passed this through Sakura Girls Secondary School have excelled in their education. Almost all of them are in high school. There was no student who has ever failed at Sakura School, and the others at the university now. Yeah, so they are doing quite well. And this is a partnership project between the government, the organization in Japan called Kilimanjaro Group Inc., Japan, and a non-profit organization in Tanzania called the Sakura Vision Tanzania, and was founded by a Japanese lady, late Professor Sumiko Iwao, and the late Miss Frida Tomito. Frida was a Tanzanian. Sumiko was a Japanese. Yeah, so they had a vision of starting this school to empower women to become leaders and influence decision-making, play a role in national development. Yeah. But in 2022, I decided to start an organization called Savannah Vision Tanzania. And this had been my long-time dream, to start this organization to help marginalized communities. And then, of course, officially was started 2022. It works to empower marginalized communities in access to quality education, livelihood empowerment, and maintaining sustainable ecosystem or rural ecosystem environment. So I was trying to combine those two things to bring sustainable development in rural areas. Yeah. And before,
who are the marginalized communities?
Yeah, the tribal communities in rural areas.
Okay.
Yes, tribal communities. The life in rural areas is somehow difficult, and there are some ethnic groups who are really backward in terms of education and the quality of their livelihood. One example is the Hadza communities. The Hadza is a hunter-gathering community, which is found in the ARC basin. I did my master's thesis with them in 2014, and I learned a lot about this community. Yeah. It was in Tanzania for so many years, about 100,000 years, but the level of development of the community is still very low. They have very poor literacy, very poor of them are educated, and their life is still quite difficult. They are struggling a lot. And the other tribes, even the Maasai in rural areas, even the other tribes like Sandawe, Dorobo, many of them, they still need to be supported.
So you needed to go there and work with them. You speak their language, or how could you motivate them to join your initiative?
Yes, through the Savannah Vision Tanzania, my plan is to establish a model school where I will provide kind of education which is more practical and also relating to their culture and tradition, but also connecting them with the world. Yeah, that is one area, education. So my plan is to establish a model school, and I'm also trying to support those students coming from those communities, poor communities. When they join universities, I want to help them somehow by giving them something like a laptop, which will help them in their studies. Yeah. And I sometimes meet with them, know about their progress, challenge, and try to help them wherever I can.
And for the marginalized communities, is it easier to bring the boys into the education, or you can extend this to the girls as well?
Inclusive,
all inclusive.
Yes, all boys and girls, all together.
Yeah. Why is it that your father, so your sisters marrying and then not being able to use their skills, but you feel very strongly about girls' skills? Yeah, and before I started teaching in 2000, that is 1995 to 2000, I worked with a Belgium organization called the Agents for Cooperation and Technical Development in the infrastructure unit, rural infrastructure unit. I was in charge of the unit in trying to connect rural areas with roads through feeder roads, construction of feeder roads, and the construction of water facilities, including earthen dams, because the situation in rural areas was really bad in those days. So I happened to be working with them, and I have seen the living condition of people in rural areas was really difficult. Poor education facility, very poor. Poor connectivity. The roads were really poor or not existing. Even if they produce a little, it's difficult to sell. And the Medicare facility was not there. Or if there is a dispensary, very well equipped. So there was a lot of challenges
But education, I think, was also the biggest challenge. So I thought I could join hand and support in projects of that kind. Yeah.
When you go to these communities who are in very rural area, at least what I heard from knowledge managers across Africa, that it is a challenge to transfer the knowledge because there are so many tribes, so many languages, so many traditions. How do you feel? Are they open for the help, or how do you connect with them?
Tanzania is very lucky because we have the national language. Kiswahili is the national language of Tanzania, and the founder of the nation, I can say, was very wise for promoting Swahili as a unifying language for all tribes in Tanzania. So almost all Tanzanians understand Swahili.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not difficult to communicate.
But when you go there, like, how does it work? I would like to help your community, and they are, because I work with gypsies, for instance, in Hungary, and many times, when I went there and I said I would like to help, it is very patronizing, and they say, thank you, we don't need your help, we are fine on our own, because there is no trust established. It is not enough just to wanting to help. So how do you do this? How do you break this first barrier?
Yeah, I think I have a good experience with rural communities because I worked with them for a very long time. First of all is understanding their culture, what they want and what they don't want, how I can convince them when I think that something will be good for them, and reach an agreement. So I don't force anything. I don't force my idea. I listen and I tell them what I think. And when they accept, we move forward. A good example is the Hadza community. It's the toughest of all. Many researchers have tried to work with the Hadza. The government have tried to work with the Hadza. It was difficult to bring the change because they want to stick to their tradition, their ancestral way of life. I think there's the best example of the foraging community at the present. They are still foraging. They don't cultivate, they don't do business, very few of them do that nowadays because of the challenge. Yeah, so I had time to talk with them and sometimes work with them, and now they like to get opportunities for advancement of their livelihood, like project for economic empowerment, like education, because some of their children who got education have brought a positive change in their family and they are living a more better life. I myself is also coming from the tribe. So
okay.
Being a Maasai and also have participated in all Maasai rituals, traditional rituals. So I count myself as one of the tribe. And my wife is also a Hadzabe. Hadzabe is one of the tribe that Maasai Girls Secondary School is helping. Yeah. Girls coming from marginalized communities. The Maasai, the Hadzabe, the Dorobo, the Sandawe, those kind of girls are coming from, can say, backward communities. They're still backward in terms of education and other sort of development.
And what are the subjects that they are learning in this school?
In Sakura School, students learn 9 subjects. That is Kiswahili language, which is a national language, English language, history, geography, civics, chemistry, physics, biology, and mathematics.
Okay.
In addition, Japanese language.
Japanese.
Yeah, students, the girls like that. They like to learn a new language. The time that we are living, where there is a lot of challenges at the family level and beyond the family level. So also teaching men to become good fathers and just role models is very important. We need to teach those values to children. And teaching girls to become good mothers and good role players in the future of the society is very important. I think this is one of the challenges which is facing the world nowadays.
Yes, not just
there is
in
a
Africa.
lot of, Africa is also going to face the same problem Europe is facing, not far from now. For instance,
What do you mean by that?
Nowadays. The young men nowadays, for instance, they don't get married earlier. Some do not get married. Some do not like to have children. And in the past, when I was born, when my father was my father, they used to have many children. Maybe 6 is the normal number of children, but above 6 is very good. But nowadays, when you have 6 children, they will associate you with an educated person. You don't think properly, you're going to have bad life, living standard, all those kind of things. They think that you are not very okay in your decision making.
Why? Is it because of the cost of raising children, or?
Yes, lifestyle change, but also the cost of raising children. The young generation want to enjoy life. They don't think of the future generation more. They want to enjoy more, not thinking of the future. And the future is the future of the nation. If we don't have children, I think the nation has no future. So children are very important, I think.
Because you mentioned that your father and mother didn't have enough opportunities, and then they motivated you to get educated, and now you are motivated lots of people to get educated. What is the difference? What is the shift?
The education during my father's time was much theoretical than practical, because they learned many things about Europe and kind of things, but not doing much about African and the African values, Africa good things. No, because my father used to tell me good things about Europe, good stories about that. They learned in school about speaking English. And if somebody can speak English in those days, he was considered highly educated. Nowadays, it's just normal. And even standard 4 was higher level of education in those days, because the majority of the community not educated. So nowadays many young men and many people have received the education, secondary education, and also college or university education. There are so many educated people nowadays, but there is this so-called media. Everyone has access to social media, television, radio, internet, also books and newspapers. Everyone can easily access nowadays. In the past, No, completely no. It was even not easy to get a textbook while I was in secondary school. Yeah, I remember when we get a good textbook, we start copying the textbook, because when it is gone, we have nothing to read. Yeah, nowadays there is access to information is quite easy. Though there are limitations. If you want some kind of quality education information, you need to buy it, which is not good, I think. Knowledge information should be free. It should not be for sale. I think it should not be for sale. It should be free for all human beings. As a human right to get education, to get knowledge is a human right. I think that should be free.
Oh, that's beautiful. I fully agree with you. Yeah. I guess so the game changed because of the accessibility, that people got access to schools, to books, to internet, to everything else. And this is how the generations changed. Do you think that the knowledge and information that people can access, is it a good thing or bad thing?
Yeah, sometimes bad, sometimes good. For instance, when we go to social media, people waste a lot of their time in social media, listening or reading things which does not impact them positively in their life, and instead it can destroy their health, their brain, their way of thinking, their ways of feeling. Yeah. So it is both good and bad. Yeah.
When you interact with marginalized communities, do you also capture their knowledge about their environment, their routines? Is this anywhere written down or recorded so that other people can learn about them?
I plan to also take some documentaries in the future. I'm based in Monduli. Monduli is a town area, and for instance, the Hadza are nearly 300 kilometers from Monduli, in a very remote area. I've been planning since December to go to the Eyasi Basin in Domanga village. I didn't succeed. The roads are not passable during this rain season. A small bridge connecting the village is broken and not fixed, so I cannot reach there. And I'm planning to go there in March. So it's a bit difficult for me to operate from Monduli to the Eyasi Basin due to transportation challenge. During my research in 2014, I asked them how their ancestors were living and how they are living now, and their quality of life now and during the time of their ancestors. And they told me, I wish I'm living in the time of my ancestors, where there was plenty in nature. I can easily get fruits in the bush, nuts, tubers, berries, wild animals, and honey. There was plenty in those days. But nowadays, everything is becoming scarce. Even water is scarce, fruits are scarce, animals are scarce, we are starving. So things like those, of course, they are free to say and to share the knowledge as well about nature, about family, about diseases, and also bringing the younger generation, how they educate and pass their norms and traditional tribal knowledge to the young generation. They are free to say. I'm sure they will be ready to give those information.
What happened to the resources? Why is there less fruits and animals and everything else?
Why are they becoming scarce?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the reasons is climate change. The amount of rainfall falling per year is becoming less. The distribution of rainfall itself is changing, including seasonality. So while the plants and the animals are not doing very well in their ecosystem because of the climate, changing climate, but also diseases. New diseases are emerging. The diseases are destroying the plants, sometimes killing animals, and also the tribal people die mainly from new diseases, which in the past were not there, and their bodies has not enough immune to fight those diseases. A good example is the Hadza. The Hadza, the government tried to settle them in villages, but when they stayed in villages, they died more frequently. And because they see many of them dying frequently due to some new diseases, they decided to turn back to the bush. And they went back to the bush. The government plan failed. They refused to settle. In the bush, they kept on surviving because the bush is less contaminated. No much interaction with other communities, so they stay there with animals and vegetation and nature. Yeah, so they think they are safe, and it is true.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the plants and the animals have new diseases because of the change of the climate, or because they interact with other communities, or
change of climate, and also interaction with other communities. Yeah, because even bringing other animals to the ecosystem can affect the ecosystem, for instance, by either transmitting diseases or cause some sort of imbalances in the ecosystem itself. Same to human beings, especially those native tribal communities which they are living in the ancient way of life. When you bring a new community living in a different type of life, they might be more impacted negatively rather than positively. But if that is done well, it can be positive. Yeah.
I really hope so. How do you see Tanzania's future in terms of education and knowledge transfer?
Yes, it is struggling to have a good future in terms of education and knowledge and curriculum. For instance, recently, the government has changed the education curriculum in schools, primary to secondary school, which is also going to change in the colleges and the universities. They want to make education more practical, to make sure that when students learn, they can easily transfer the knowledge and they apply it to solve problems in their environment and beyond. Children or students learn something that they just remember in the class, but when they go out of the class, they don't apply. So it becomes useless education. And that is what is happening in Tanzania. Yeah. And that make the quality of human resources in Tanzania also not so good, coming from either universities or colleges in Tanzania. Yeah, so change of curriculum is very, very important. And
can you tell
we are
me,
looking for the better future. that the future will be good in terms of education and knowledge. When children are at the school, they are encouraged to also know what they want to be in the future, what they want to do in the future. For instance, if a student wants to become a good farmer or want to become a musician or a businessman or to become an engineer, to build the houses, she likes to build the houses or to build the machines, then she should choose that stream of education where she will learn skills which will develop her dream to become true, what she likes and what she will be capable of doing.
And in Africa or in Tanzania, do the teachers have capacity to recognize this, or you think that a mentoring scheme would be better, to realize which child would like to do, which kind of professional learning?
Yeah, there is a problem with teachers as well, because they were trained to teach students in the old ways, all the curriculum. The government and the other organization need to take initiative to retrain teachers and orient them on the new curriculum. Yeah, which is more practical. Yeah.
How do you think teachers feel about this?
Well, yeah, they feel good. I can say good, but they're not sure still, because the government has been bringing so many changes in the past, but didn't work. Yeah. So they are optimistic that maybe this curriculum would be better and they will stay for a bit long time. And they will be able to help students become better than in the past. But schools are poorly equipped with teaching and learning resources. The environment is not so good for many schools, especially the public schools.
What do you think would be important to teach for the children or how the education and curriculum should be changed? Do you think that it should be going more towards, African values or technology like artificial intelligence and coding, or what do you think would be the most important?
I think both should be going towards technical values, because Africa is part of the globe, but also towards African values. All those two needs to be promoted together, developed together. The African values and the technology.
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
What is the thing that I didn't ask you, but you would find it very important to talk about?
I cannot think for now, but I think it is also good to make education global, to make education global. What we learn in Tanzania is also what other people, children in other parts of the world learn. Simply because we are living on the same world, in the same planet, and we need to promote common understanding of each other, also common values which are global, and we need to promote that conducive environment for all human beings to acquire knowledge, practical knowledge that will help to make the life of human being much better, and also our planet to become much better and safe.
I agree with you. You know, when I was in my 20s, this is when I realized that what we were learning, history, what was the content of our history books, is totally different in other countries. They present the same event in a different light. Because I think that there is so much value in what you are saying, that we could standardize the curriculum about many things, like for instance geography, but it's not standardized. People interpret things differently, and then children are learning about the same thing, but in a very different from a very different perspective.
Yes, and I hate that, because sometimes education might teach children to come to hate other people, which is not okay. And we believe all humans have same origin. We are same. If we teach that we are different and that those other humans they are bad, I think teaching about that is not positive. So we should teach only positive knowledge, not negative, because negative will not bring us together. That will keep on dividing us as citizens of this planet, and make us more citizens of our country. And if we become citizens of our countries, we might even get divided more, because I might think I'm a Maasai and the others are not Maasai, so I want me to be more Maasai than the others tribe, and try to exclude the others. I start develop bias, that kind of things. I think the world leaders have to rethink again about education, how to provide proper education to the global citizen, all global citizens. Things should be standardized, but should give room for development and the emergence of new knowledge. Yes.
I couldn't agree with you more, because we have the same origin and we are the same people, and we live in the same way. We are born, we get married, we have children or not. It doesn't matter. We have the same life cycle, all of us. But yes. I think that it is beautiful that we have different experiences, and if we could use our different experiences to build things, to find solutions or innovations, that would be the ideal world. At the moment, you mentioned the politicians. I see very good examples who try to unite people, and I see politicians who would like to divide people, because this is how they gain more power. And I don't like seeing that. I always would like to see people united. I don't know. I think the idea of the European Union is a very nice idea, to stop war and try to bring all our experiences together for a better future for everybody.
And the idea for the African Union as well.
Exactly, because as you said earlier, I don't believe that you can lift and shift things from different continents, because we have different cultures. I think we can say, in Europe, this is how we do it. We talk to you about it, and then you take what is useful. And then you say, in Africa, this is how we do it. And then in Europe, we say, this is what is useful for us, and we are going to take it. So we learn from each other. But we cannot copy and paste or lift and shift our experience, because it's a different culture, different everything. Do you agree?
Yes, that is very true. Yeah. But I believe in a long run, it is very possible for all human beings to be able to understand and work with each other very well, because culture change, culture evolve, depending on many factors. So I believe that there will be time when we don't have even boundaries. Somebody can go and live anywhere on this planet. Rather than saying I'm a Tanzanian, I'm restricted to live here, if I have to go somewhere, I must have a passport and a visa. All those things need to go. In the past, there was no those things. This space called the S belongs to us all, belonged to our ancestors. So we should be free to move, to interact, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
People without borders.
Yeah, I believe that will be something very good, a good future for humanity. Yeah. It is tough to reach that level. Yeah.
Yes, I agree. I agree with you, and I think this is a very nice statement to end our conversation. It was so nice to spend time with you and talk about education in Tanzania. I have never been in Tanzania, but I found it really, really interesting, and your work with the tribes and the girls and everybody, really. It's really, really inspiring. So I really appreciate the time that you spent with me on a Friday. I know that you are working tomorrow, you are working hard on so many projects. So I have huge respect towards your commitment and initiatives. And thanks again for this discussion.
Me too, Ivan. Truly, it's a pleasure having this discussion with you.